Okay, hopefully this is all good and you can all hear us. But just want to say a massive welcome to everyone who's following us on Zoom, and thank you to everyone who's here in person. We're very lucky to be here at the Iroise Studios in Brighton today, just to celebrate the BioCultural Heritage Tourism, both reflect on what we've achieved in the project and also look forward to what we're going to be doing in the future. My name's Sarah Dobson. I'm the Programme Manager for the Living Coast. So I'm going to start off by giving you a bit of an introduction to what the Living Coast Biosphere is, also an overview of the BioCultural Heritage Tourism Project, and also have a little bit of a reflection about what the current context is for this project, as well as I said, looking forward to the next steps and into the future. So to start with, what is a biosphere? First and foremost, it's a global designation in recognition of the value of our natural environment and the approach to sustainability our residents, businesses and organisations are taking. Formally, a biosphere reserve or biosphere region is an area designated by UNESCO to inspire a positive future for people and nature, and to be learning places for sustainable development. In everything we do, there's a real focus on learning how people and nature can flourish together for generations to come. We work with other organisations and projects that are doing the same, and share what we learn with others locally, nationally, and through the global community of biospheres. In that global community, we're one of 727 sites across the world. We're one of 7 in the UK, but importantly, we're the UK's only urban biosphere designation. So our designation here covers about 390 square kilometres, which is about the same size as the nearby Isle of Wight, which is also a biosphere. We have 14 sites of special scientific interest, 2 national nature reserves, 1 marine conservation zone, 2 rivers, which is the Ada and the Ouse, 3 key environments. So that's for us, the South Downs, our towns and the coast. Within our designation, we have over 330 residents, and that's supplemented every year by about 12 million annual visitors. Behind the scenes, however, biospheres are really about partnership. So we're a partnership of over 40 local and national organisations, people such as the local authorities, national agencies such as the Environment Agency, South Downs National Park, but also cultural organisations and community representation. Our partnership is currently led by Brighton and Hove City Council. Biospheres usually work to progress objectives around conserving and enhancing nature, supporting sustainable development, and sharing knowledge and awareness through working across the partnership to deliver projects. The BioCultural Heritage Tourism Project is one such project delivering our objectives. This project is a collaboration between 4 biospheres, with 2 in the UK and 2 in northern France. Also with tourism sector specialists such as Visit Brighton and Pas-de-Calais Tourism, and also knowledge partners. And on this project, it was the University of Exeter. The aim of this project is to increase the value of tourism to the local economy, but without increasing the impact to the environment. All of the regions involved in the project have areas of internationally important natural environment and are also important destinations for tourism, with the visitor economy playing a key role in the local and regional economies. Key opportunities of the project was to explore bringing these crucial elements together to create mutually beneficial outcomes. So increasing knowledge and understanding across all partners to ideally enable the concept of a truly sustainable visitor economy. The project was funded by the Interreg Channel programme as part of the European Regional Development Fund, and has run from 2018 and is about to end, unfortunately, at the end of this month. Unfortunately, this has meant that the majority of the delivery of the project has been within the COVID-19 pandemic. The project has involved collaboration between inhabitants, businesses and environmental managers and other stakeholders as well to create new tourism activities that celebrate the connections between human and nature, distinctive to the local area and cultural heritage. The main outputs of the project are to conserve the natural and cultural sites by strategically managing tourism flows and improving the experience of visitors, by raising awareness and engaging with local businesses about sustainable tourism and the aims of the project, and creating a diversified visitor offer for natural and cultural tourism destinations. The business partners this project has been working with and reaching out to have been having to cope with extreme and unforeseen conditions. The challenge has shifted from exploring sustainable growth to survival. However, there has been light in the darkness. There's been a huge increase in domestic tourism, as well as greater appreciation for the value of the natural environment and how spending time in nature, peace and quiet, etc., is good for your health and without having the environmental impact of international travel. Alongside COVID, there's been an increased awareness and sense of urgency in tackling the climate crisis in general. For example, Brighton and Hove City Council, alongside the majority of local authorities nationally, have declared formal climate and biodiversity emergencies. Brighton and Hove City Council have chosen to monitor progress in mitigating and adapting to the climate and biodiversity emergencies by measuring carbon emissions and planning how to be carbon neutral by 2030. This will require cross-sector working with everyone in the city, from residents to multinational businesses. The visitor economy will be a key partner in delivering this. There's also been a huge increase in engagement and awareness of the value of the natural environment in producing all our critical resources and regulating climate, what is often termed as natural capital. But also alongside this, there's awareness of how degraded the environment has become and the huge task required to enhance, reconnect and enable a resilient natural environment. There are an increasing number of strategic initiatives to bring multi-sector partnerships together around supporting our marine and land-based environments. Because the bottom line really is a stronger and more resilient natural environment will enable future sustainable growth. So what does all that mean for tourism businesses trying to get through the COVID pandemic? Basically, it's about short and long-term sustainability. In the short term, it's about making the most of what we have on our doorstep, but also how businesses can set themselves apart from the competition and reach new audiences now. In the longer term, it's about planning for the future and making sure that you're keeping up with the direction of travel at both national and local policy level. It's also about tapping into these new opportunities. We know there is a demand for low impact travel and a growing awareness of how leisure time can have a less than positive impact on our natural environment and spaces. With our knowledge partners, the University of Exeter, and multiple professional stakeholders, in order to help businesses and environmental managers plan for the future, we undertook some scenario mapping to basically vision a future for our region under 3 key outcomes. We were looking at what our society, heritage, environment and economies may look like if we continue with business as usual as things are now. We also had a look at what our economies, environment, society and heritage would look like if we were just to prioritise short-term economic recovery and growth. And finally, we were looking at what our social, heritage and environmental and economies may look like if we took an approach based on stewardship of our natural, social and cultural assets. The outcomes of this scenario visioning are shared here on the display boards, being visualised through some fantastic illustrations. So this illustration here on the screen shows the potential future impacts of continuing in a business as usual scenario. This basically includes tourism that's really centred on these honeypot sites, that there is visitor pressure on those honeypot sites. There's also extreme seasonal peaks in visitor numbers and tourism business income, and that there's a gradual decline in the quality of the environmental assets. This illustration shows potential future impacts if we prioritise short-term economic recovery and growth. This scenario predicts outcomes including overdevelopment, increasing visitor numbers and businesses making more, but that's at the expense of the visitor spend not contributing to the local economy. There's also rising visitor pressures that erode the natural environment and rising resident and visitor tensions. The third scenario that we envisaged was considering what our society, heritage, environment and economies may look like if we take an approach based on stewardship of our natural, social and cultural assets. This would consider spreading the benefits of tourism across the region, more green infrastructure and sustainable travel options, more visitor spend staying in the local economy, restoring the environment, things such as visitor giving, such as time, skills, and also payback schemes, but also enabling a longer season of interest. Beyond these fantastic illustrations, there is also some serious data and modelling, the purpose of which is as a decision support tool for strategic tourism planning to enable tourism businesses, environmental managers and regional planners to forecast potential opportunity and pressure areas for activities falling under the broad remit of sustainable tourism within our region. We have developed this spatial data forecasting tool that runs in geographic information systems, or GIS software. It integrates spatial data about tourism pressures and opportunities, including a range of environmental, access, tourism, and business clustering data. It is intended to be a transferable tool that can be used by local authorities, destination management organisations, site managers, and the like. It's also an updatable tool. The component layers can be updated and the model rerun. It's based on participatory stakeholder data and on local expert knowledge, as well as some statistical processes in order to understand which of the variables has an impact. The model includes a range of spatial data based on human tourism factors, including information on management, such as environmental designations like SSSIs. It's also including access, so things like transport infrastructure, roads and cycle paths and the like. Also businesses, so food and drink, cycle hire, water sports, etc., and attractions and amenities, so such as heritage sites and key tourism attractions. It also includes information and scoring by stakeholders and local environmental managers around environmental sensitivity of habitats, and the sensitivity of these habitats as well, because these often fluctuate between summer and winter. There's also stakeholders have identified areas of tourism pressure and opportunity, which is then being transferred into sort of GIS data. And then we've also added into that local policy priority weightings. The model outputs are also based on those three scenarios that we ran through just a minute ago. So there's the business as usual scenario, a scenario where there's less regulation around development and caring for the environment, and then a scenario where custodianship and responsibility are prioritised. So the output maps here show the potential areas of opportunity for developing sustainable tourism across the summer season under those three scenarios, plus against the current baseline as a comparison. Basically, the darker the colour means that there is the greatest potential in that region. So the map on the top left, because I appreciate that the writing's fairly tiny, that shows where we are now. So that's our baseline. The map below that, bottom left, that's the scenario where it shows a lot reduced opportunity actually, because we're being less mindful here when we're developing or in maintaining the natural environment. The map on the top right shows how things would progress under a business as usual scenario, so not a great deal of different from the baseline. And finally, the map in the bottom right shows potential areas of opportunity for developing sustainable tourism under this scenario of increased stewardship and custodianship of the natural environment. As you can see, this really does show there's considerably more opportunity in this area than any of the other scenarios. Just wait for that to change. So the output maps here show the similar modelling that's taken place, but this time in winter, because again, we do want to look at extending that tourism season out some of the sort of peak summer months. Again, the darker the colour means there's greatest potential for developing sustainable tourism activities. And again, the map on the top left is where we are now. The map below that is when there's less control and understanding and support for the natural environment. The map on the top right shows how things would be under this business as usual scenario progressing. And finally, the map in the bottom right again shows potential areas of opportunity for developing sustainable tourism under this scenario of stewardship. And again, you can see that this shows considerably more opportunity than any of the other scenarios. So I appreciate that's a real whistle-stop tour, but I hope that's provided a bit of an overview of the context and background for this Biocultural Heritage Tourism Project, as well as an idea of how we are working with wider stakeholders and policymakers to support the future of sustainable tourism in the region. It is a fairly weighty subject, but I hope it would be fair to sum it up by saying that what we are really aiming to illustrate here is how there is more opportunity to have a resilient and sustainable business across multiple sectors if we work together and ensure our amazing natural environment is resourced and enhanced both now and in the future. I'm now going to hand over to Lynn, who will be introducing some of the other tools that we've developed to help local businesses do just that.
Hi, I'm Lynn. So as Sarah said, the project is kind of got two strands to it. First, it's about promoting but protecting the natural environment, but it's also about sustainability and linking in with the Biosphere Reserve, and the objectives of the Biosphere Reserve being conservation, sustainable development, and promoting awareness and learning and engagement. So this project has been 3 years long, and I'm just going to talk about 3 different things from the project. So firstly, I'm going to look at the resources that we've developed for businesses to use. Second, I'm going to talk about the resources that we've developed for consumers, so whether that's visitors or local people. And then thirdly, I'm just going to talk briefly about some of the specific activities that we developed as part of that project. So firstly, resources for businesses. I'm literally just going to talk you through the website of where to actually find these resources, because I thought that would be the easiest thing to do. So the Living Coast website is thelivingcoast.org.uk. And if you go on the top menu to For Organisations, and then you go to Resources, that's where you will find the resources. So firstly, if we're just going to scroll down a little bit, and then on the next section here on the left-hand side, there's a toolkit for tourism businesses. So if you click on the button there, which says download toolkit now, this is a toolkit that we developed as part of the project, which we did in conjunction with the 3 other biospheres that we work with on this project. And it literally is a long document and a toolkit of how to be a tourism business in a biosphere reserve. So it is a long document, but it does have a contents page, so you can navigate to whichever area that you want to see. But it contains a lot of information. It's got why local distinctiveness matters to visitors, how it can add value to your business, how to make the most of it, what to look for, general opportunities, how to develop a tourism product or experience. So there's loads and loads of sort of real hands-on advice and links to other websites as well. So please do have a look at that part of the website. Going back to the main Living Coast website, on the right-hand side there, where it says free destination marketing assets, we've got some marketing copy. So literally, we're not going to click on it now because it just opens a Word document, but it literally is a Word document that you can copy and paste from. And within that, what we did was we sectioned up the offering of the Living Coast into 5 different themes. So we've got nature and wildlife, active and outdoors, local produce, heritage and culture, and health and well-being. And within those different sections, we've got images, videos, and copy. So if you click on the copy, it literally has got 150 words and 300 words written under each of those different themes. And again, it's just a kind of inspiration for people to, things to see and do in the Living Coast. And that copy is there for businesses to use. So you can just use it in your marketing, use it in social media, on your website, wherever you want to use it, really. There is also a section on the Living Coast in general about what the biosphere is and what it does as well. Next down is the image library. So if you scroll down, there you will find approximately 60 images. They're not sectioned into the different themes, but the brief for the photographer was those themes. So you'll find, there's lots of different things about health and wellness and connecting with nature, active and outdoors. And those images are, again, free for tourism businesses to use. So you can literally get them from the website. You just need to right click and download. All we ask is that you credit the Living Coast if you do use them. And finally, we've got the films, which you can use as well. So down here, we've got 5 themed films, which are all 90 seconds long. So again, under the 5 different themes. So we're only just going to watch one of them now, the active and outdoors one.
Just going to wait as the sound's not coming through. Sorry.
Go to screen share. You have to click the share audio.
Shall I stop it again?
Let me just see this.
So that's one of the films that we commissioned. There is another 4 in there as well, sort of under the different themes. So again, feel free to use them. You just literally need to either share from the website or they're on the Living Coast YouTube channel as well. If you did want to put it on your website and actually embed it in your website and you need an actual copy of the file, then you can actually email us and we can send you a copy as well. But all of these resources are there for people to use. You know, we made them specifically for small independent businesses who work in tourism in the Living Coast to use, so feel free to use them. Something else that we've done is slightly different, not really at all, but is our directory, which again, if you go to organisations and then go to the directory, this is where it's a place really for businesses to share what they're doing in line with the Biosphere's objectives. So each business is going to be different, and it's not an accreditation scheme, it's more of a celebration of best practice. So it's a chance for sort of businesses to really showcase what they do in relation to sustainability. So it could be something to do with how you manage your waste and recycling. It could be about putting up bird boxes. It could be about how you promote and encourage people to use public transport to come to visit you wherever you are. So really, it's just what you do, sort of real tangible things that you do as a business to sort of, you know, do your bit for sustainability. And we just welcome any tourism businesses in the Living Coast to share their story. It's all on the website of how to actually send the information in, and there's also lots of ideas as well. So I mean, the aim of us setting this up was, one, aimed at the general public so they can actually see what businesses are doing, and also it's for other businesses, because you know, sustainability is all about a journey and we can all learn from each other. So it's kind of inspiration for other businesses as well, to see what other people are doing. Moving on, so that's sort of what we've done in sort of on this project for businesses. With regards to what we've done direct for consumers, on the top panel where the things to do section is on the Living Coast website, you can see the 5 different key themes which are down the left hand side here. So if we just click on one of them, what we've done is we've put together some kind of inspirational ideas of things to do and see in the Biosphere Reserve. So again, we've got the video which relates to that particular theme, which you saw on the other page, and then lots of different information of things you can do. So for example, go butterfly spotting, places that you can go, links to where you can find out more information. So it's kind of in a sort of a listicle format. So again, this is aimed at consumers, whether it's local residents or visitors, but it's there for you to use as well. You know, as a local, you might want to use it, or you can refer people to it as well as sort of a source of inspiration. So that's kind of what we've done in relation to direct for consumers. I'm now just going to talk briefly about some of the specific activities that we developed as part of the project. So firstly, the Homeward Bound Festival, which hopefully some of you will know about. It took place over a weekend in October, over the 2nd, 3rd of October. So the aim of this festival was to reconnect people with the cultural heritage of the coastline. So the fact that Brighton and Hove was originally a fishing village, it's really sort of connecting people to that past. We worked with Zach Kane, who's a local musician, and he runs a sea shanty workshop business. We worked with him on sort of developing and curating the festival. And the idea was that we worked with lots of different organisations and businesses and charities, individuals, to put on different activities under the main banner of the festival. Which worked pretty well, actually. There was lots of people who were interested in doing things. So we had craft workshops, we had beach cleans, we had kind of fine dining, smuggling themed dinners, we had music events, we had all sorts of things going on, which worked really well. The only thing that didn't work was the weather, because it was horrifically bad that weekend. So anything that was outdoors didn't go that great, but everything indoors did. And you know, even sort of the free activities that we put on that people signed up for, the majority of people showed up for. So everyone did get really involved, and it was really, really good. So, I mean, the theory was that we used the project funding to fund this festival as being the inaugural festival that potentially we might carry on for future years. So that's the idea. So hopefully it might carry on in future years. You'll have to watch this space of whether it does or not. Hopefully it will. So that was the Homeward Bound Festival. The next big activity that we did was we worked with Sussex on the Living Coast by Bike project, which we developed a website specifically to help people explore the Living Coast in a sustainable way, i.e. by bike. So what you'll see is on the map, we've got 10 different cycling routes, which all start and finish at a train station. And then on the site, this site is completely free to use, by the way. And it basically just gives you places to go and visit. What you can do on the site is that you can download a GPS map to your phone, so it tells you exactly where to go. It tells you more information about the actual ride, so a little bit about the terrain, the starts and finishes. What we've also done is we've included quite a lot of information about the Living Coast experience on the ride. So it's obviously a beautiful ride. All of them are lovely to go on anyway, and they're lovely to just look at the scenery. But we've just given that little bit more information. So to tell you about the cultural heritage, the natural heritage, the different habitats that you'll see, the wildlife that you'll see. So it kind of just adds that little bit extra while you're on the ride. And then also on the route, we give you some information about bike facilities and also places to stop for refreshments as well. So as I said, it's a completely free website that we for people to use, and it's there to be used. So please, again, if you know that your guests or your visitors are keen cyclists, then do sort of promote the site on your website, or wherever you promote it. So that's the Living Coast by Bike. The final activity that we developed as part of the project is Stanmer Park. So you may be aware that Stanmer Park had a big restoration project happening anyway over the last couple of years. So we kind of piggybacked on that, and we created some marketing and sort of more information to really kind of connect people to what there is at Stanmer Park, and again aimed more at visitors and local people as well. So what we did was we set up this website, set up this web page. We also commissioned a film specifically about Stanmer Park, which we'll watch now, if we can do it. So that was our film that we commissioned specifically for Stanmer Park. Again, feel free to use it, to share it on social media. And then on this page, you'll see that there's lots of information about Stanmer Park. So what there is to do, what there is to see. Again, more links to external websites that are connected with Stanmer Park. What we found was there was lots of information about Stanmer Park, but not in one place. So what we try to do is sort of take all this information about the heritage, the culture, the landscape, the wildlife, community initiatives that are based there, kind of lots of different things that you can do. I mean, there's so many different things that you can do at Stanmer, and it's really, you know, it's quite an amazing place. So it was trying to get all of that information onto the website, so to people to really appreciate that. We also did develop a visitor leaflet, which we printed about 20,000 copies of that. And that's going to be available, or is available, in all the different visitor information points around Brighton and in Lewis as well. So if you do want any of the hard copy of the leaflets, then let me know and I can get them sent out to you. So that's pretty much it for the activities that we did as part of the project. I mean, the project is coming to an end now. It finishes at the end of December. You know, we have achieved a lot. It's been really good. It has been really hard during the pandemic as well. But I mean, it is continuing as well, the work that we're doing. So all of this information is obviously going to stay on the website. So all of the resources will be available, you know, indefinitely until they go out of date. But what we're going to be doing is continuing this relationship and continuing with the sort of theme of the project. So I'm going to hand over to Sandra Grant from the South Downs Trust, because one of the ways we are going to continue it is working in collaboration with them on a visitor giving scheme. And Sandra is going to give you some more information about that.
Hello, thank you very much for inviting me here today to talk to you about visitor giving and to celebrate a partnership between the South Downs National Park Trust and the Living Coast. But first, I'd like to explain a little bit about the South Downs National Park Trust and the work it does. So if we could pop over to the video, please. Just need to start sharing again. So this video is
The
narrated.
South Downs is one of 15 national parks within the UK, recognised for beautiful countryside, wildlife and heritage. The National Park Authority is responsible for protecting the South Downs. They do this by conserving and enhancing the landscape. And because the South Downs is a lived-in landscape, it's also the planning authority. The National Park Authority is paid for by the government. But given the increasing pressures on our environment, this funding doesn't stretch to cover the important work needed to protect and enhance it. This is where the South Downs National Park Trust comes in. As an independent charity, we're separate from the National Park Authority. We work with local partners, sourcing and funding projects that help enhance the park. These partners include charities like Butterfly Conservation, the National Trust, and smaller voluntary groups. By working closely with our network of rangers, environmental and heritage experts, and the local community, we fund the very best projects. Our focus is on improving and expanding our grassland, heathland and woodland, conserving and enhancing our network of walking and cycling routes, increasing outdoor learning, and providing support to those who volunteer to help the park. We work hard to make a little money go a long way. We also aim to increase awareness of our beautiful area so that more people can enjoy the health and well-being benefits that the South Downs has to offer. And the good news is, as our costs are covered, 100% of every donation made to the Trust supports improvements within the park.
Thank you, Sarah. So everything that the Trust does is done in partnership, from fundraising to actual delivery of the projects. And we're absolutely delighted to be working with the Living Coast on a visitor giving scheme for the area. So what exactly is visitor giving? Well, it's a voluntary payment made by visitors, whereby they donate a small amount of money through their bills, tickets or fees to put something back into looking after the places they love to visit. Tourism businesses of all types can collect visitor giving contributions, but it's really important that actually all donations collected on behalf of the South Down Trust in this area are ring-fenced for projects within the Living Coast. A visitor giving scheme must be flexible to meet the needs of the business, their systems and their customer profile. And it could be anything from adding a small voluntary donation to a bill or experience or an entrance ticket, inviting donations at events or tours, rounding up a bill to the nearest pound in restaurants and pubs, or offering a product that includes a small visitor giving donation, such as a dish of the day or a special drink. Here are some of the businesses that have already offered to support visitor giving within the South Downs National Park. Dean's Place Hotel was one of the first on board. They've got 36 bedrooms. They're based in Alfriston, and they have a £2 opt-out on room bookings. And in their first 6 months, from May to October in 2018, visitors donated £1,394. That's the equivalent of 700 room bookings, converting into a £2 donation. Fizz and Foot invite donations at the end of their wine walking and tasting tours and wine tasting events. Hydro Hotel invite donations of any amount on checking out. And the Village Inn include a donation on their most popular dish, which is their fish and chips. Some of the projects that have been supported over the years include restoring the National Trail and improving signage and installing water points along the South Downs Way, planting thousands of trees along walking routes and including disease-resistant cultivars, fundraising to support a new access route along the Iroise, the Egrets Way, and creating an app that allows people to visit sites that inspire our local artists, and replacing stiles with swing gates to increase access within the South Downs. And here are some of the priorities: increasing outside learning time in the National Park, conservation and heritage, and improving the walking and cycling routes. And some of the highlights since 2018 include £94,000 of funds allocated to community projects, over 4,000 metres of path restored, 2 new cycle routes funded, and over 6,000 children enabled to visit the national park. So what is the business journey that businesses have to go through to sign up to Visitor Giving scheme? Well, discussions with Dean's Place Hotel and Fizz on Foot regarding the challenges that they faced when they initially set up the scheme have helped to inform a Visitor Giving fundraising toolkit. Once a business decides to support visitor giving, it's very important to decide what form of visitor giving will work and how it will work for that business. So, for example, what processes does the business have to put in place? And we're really happy to help throughout the process and through the toolkit. So this can include things like making changes to a website landing page to show your support for visitor giving, or creating a dedicated visitor giving page, updating your booking form and registration forms, staff training, or even your accounting systems. How do you account for the donations that are made? And we've also realized that communication is key throughout the journey, so that by the time a bill is presented, a visitor understands and is more than happy to make a donation. And what are the benefits for businesses? Well, it's really important to acknowledge the effort the business is making and the kind donations made by visitors and guests. So we can offer a listing on the Trust website, press and promotions through the South Downs National Park Authority communication team, a thank you in the Trust newsletter and social media mentions, and also access to expert advice on how to maximise the benefits of our special landscape and information on other opportunities. And here's a picture of the manager of Dean's Place Hotel when he was given a certificate to celebrate the first 6 months. And actually, surprisingly, guests have donated over £5,000 during the pandemic, which means that the total donated by visitors at the Dean's Place Hotel since the scheme launched is now approaching £10,000. And so the news story was picked up across local regional press and on social media. And also, what's the journey that visitors have to go through? Well, as we said earlier, we're really happy to help you to pinpoint your support for visitor giving throughout your visitors or your customers' journey. So the best way to ensure guests support visitor giving is to provide as much information as possible so that guests are fully informed and willing to make a donation. It's also really important that staff training is vital, so that your staff feel confident talking about the scheme and can respond to questions. And again, we're more than happy to help with that. So we have created a whole suite of visitor giving artwork that includes logos, leaflets and maps. And this is a new leaflet that's really just been signed off a few days ago and has gone to the printers and will be available in the new year. And we can provide you with all the materials that you need to communicate your commitment to visitor giving and inspire your visitors and customers to make a donation. So this could be logos and copy for your websites, promotional materials, this leaflet and any information you want to hand out to guests. We've also got tabletop tent cards that are handy to put on tables, dining tables, or in bedroom suites. We've got vinyls and stickers that can go in folders and welcome packs and on furniture. A flyer that you can put in a room browser or room welcome pack, and also a map of the South Downs National Park and the Living Coast with your location and your logo on it that you can display in your reception or any area of your choice. So what's next? Well, in the new year, we'll start exploring leads and contacts in the business community throughout the Living Coast area. And we really invite you to suggest leads, and if you can, to set up an introduction to businesses that are interested in visitor giving or in finding out more. Remember, all donations given via our partnership with the Living Coast will be ring-fenced to the local area. And once enough funds have been raised, we'll be inviting community and conservation groups that meet our aims to apply for funding. And then we'll report back on successful projects and provide case studies of the important conservation and community work your funding has helped achieve. Thank you.
Okay, so that's it from us at the moment. So thanks again very much for joining us. It was really great to be able to give an overview of the project and just summarise. It's been a really challenging time, obviously, working with stakeholders in the visitor economy during the pandemic, but we've also learned such a huge amount from our partners, and we just want to extend a huge thank you to everyone that has supported this project and contributed over the years. I particularly want to say a big thank you to Lynn as our project manager. She's done a fantastic job. And yes, we'll be in touch with next steps in due course, but thanks again for joining us this afternoon. And I suppose we have to say happy Christmas at this point. But thank you very much, and hope to see everyone in the new year. I hope you stay safe and well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you.